So ordinal type registrations are starting on EVM blockchains, which is Ethereum virtual machines. So in a nutshell, they're all the blockchains you can find in your metamask wallet, and there's more and more hype around it because there's a chance to make great money with a minimum investment and risk. So a lot of you have asked me to make a tutorial about this to explain how all of that works. So I made sure to deliver, and I made sure to make the best tutorial you can find on the internet. So it's going to be very simple and quick and very complete. We'll see that now. Hello everyone and welcome to Road to Millions. So today we're back with a new video, and today we're going to talk about this new phenomenon that we're seeing on pretty much most blockchains that are EVM compatible Ethereum virtual machine, but also on other types of blockchains like Solana, Aptos, Sui, and so on and so forth. So there's a surge with these ordinal type registrations on these blockchains. Intrinsically, these tokens have no value. They're more like memorial tokens because most of the EVM type blockchains don't really need ordinal type registrations as much as Bitcoin needs it, because they already have the ability to allow for DeFi to exist, to make decentralized apps and so on and so forth. So they don't need this kind of layer in addition to add innovation. So we've seen a lot of enthusiasm about this. We've seen some certain registrations completely skyrocket. For example, the first registrations on Solana, on Polygon, or even more recently with Avalanche, doing crazy multipliers. In Solana, we're talking about 600 to 700x, or even more sometimes. On Avalanche more recently, we're talking about a good 20x. All of that with minimum fees and very low risk, so it's worth it to be interested in this. First question is, where can you mint? I'm not really gonna explain to you what minting is if you're starting out and you never minted before. First, go look up how the BRC20 ecosystem of Bitcoin works. It's gonna be the exact same thing but on other blockchains. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to let me know this by leaving a like and a comment. This is how I know if I should continue making this kind of content or not. It's very important, or else we're gonna move on to other types of videos. And thanks a lot for the support. And so where can you really find all of this if you want to be one of the first people that get into this thing? I recommend you go check dune.com. You go here to discover, and generally you're gonna find a pretty good amount of things. For example, here on the ordinal ecosystem of Avalanche, so ASC20, you had, for example, the possibility to mint the token AVAL. This one doesn't perform really well, but for the sake of the example, I'm gonna show you how this looks like. Otherwise, you can follow people on Twitter that are gonna talk to you about new mints, that are gonna make tutorials, but you have to know that there's always gonna be a delay compared to what you can find on Dune, because from the time that they see it themselves on dune.com and the whole tutorial making process, it's generally quite long. They're gonna lose time, and sometimes the mints are gonna be already done. Anyways, once you found an interesting mint, you're gonna click there and you're gonna be redirected to a page with a ton of info. So what do we have? So the blockchain here is Avalanche. So the gas you're gonna use to mint your tokens is AVAX. So how are you gonna add this blockchain to your metamask? On chainlink.org, of course. It's a classic at this point. After that, you have the different data. This is the entire phrase that you're gonna be able to use to mint. This is a special code that you're gonna be able to use to mint as well if you want to do it manually. And then they're gonna give you all the info about the token as well as the mint percentage. It's very important to see where the mint is at and not to mint for nothing. Here there's 0% left because the mint is already done, but for the sake of the example, I'm showing you here what you can find on this page. You can see as well the number of holders. You can see the addresses that minted the most tokens with the number of tokens they own, so that you have a maximum of info about it. So when you are minting, to make sure that you've really gotten your registrations on your address, you have here a little search bar. You're gonna copy and paste your address, and you're gonna see how many tokens this address has minted. Here, for example, for this address, it made 14,811 mints with this number of tokens here, because you're gonna mint this number of tokens per mint. So typically, it's not really a 1-to-1 ratio. You usually mint multiple tokens per mint, and the amount is indicated over here. So once you have all of this, you either can do it manually, and in this case, you're gonna have to set up your MetaMask wallet. So you're gonna open up your MetaMask wallet, you're gonna click on the three dots, you're gonna go on settings, and after that in advanced settings, you're gonna enable this option here. It's to show the HEX data. This is what's gonna allow you to mint your tokens, because the HEX data, they're over here. And so if you want to mint, for example, this token AVAL on the protocol ASC20 of Avalanche, you're gonna just have to click on your MetaMask and send some AVAX tokens to your wallet to be able to pay for the gas fees. So click on send. Here you're gonna paste one of your MetaMask addresses, the address in which you want to receive your registrations. So let's say my wallet address was this one. I'm going to copy it and then I'm going to click send. I'm going to put my address, and finally here in the HEX data, I would copy this phrase and then paste it here, and then I would click on send. I wouldn't need to put an amount in AVAX. I would just need to pay for the transaction fees on the network. And after that, it would have minted one time this number of tokens. So I can repeat this operation however much I want, as long as there's still a percentage of tokens to mint. And just like that, I'll be able to accumulate the ordinal type registrations that I want on this blockchain. Now, this process is very long and tedious. It doesn't cost much, but there's a method that's a little bit more faster. There's a bot here. It's web3.polaris.xyz, and it's gonna allow you to mint automatically. So to do this, you have multiple boxes to fill. So in the first box, you're gonna choose the blockchain in which you want to mint your tokens in. So recently there was a mint in the KCC, the KuCoin community chain, so you would have selected that. After that, below here, you're gonna have to put the private keys of one of your wallets. Now I know this might sound crazy, but pay very close attention. I'm not gonna be completely dumb. I'm not gonna give the private keys of one of my main wallets. I'm just not gonna do that. Here for this occasion, I'm gonna create a brand new metamask wallet, maybe even in a completely different computer. I'm gonna create a completely new wallet, and its only purpose is gonna be to mint my tokens. So I'm gonna create these new wallets. I'm gonna keep the deposit address in a block, and I'm gonna be using that one for all of my mints. I'm gonna save as well the private keys in a block note, and after that, all I'm gonna have to do is copy and paste. So in case there's some malicious activity going on in this website, it's not gonna be an issue because the wallet that I would have used is only used for mints only. So I'm only gonna be spending for the gas fees on whichever blockchain, and by the time you're gonna end minting, the gas fees tokens are gonna be already spent. So there's never gonna be anything to get from that wallet. I have to be really insisting on this point. Create a burner wallet that you're gonna be only using for that, and never do that with your main wallets. Obviously, you never share your seed phrase nor your private keys. That would be the fastest way to get scammed, really, by giving access to your wallets. So use a wallet that's dedicated to this kind of things, and always pay attention to what you're doing. So you gotta put here your private key, because this bot is gonna use your private key to launch your mints automatically, so it has to have access to your wallet. Below, you have to check on the right box. It's in Chinese, I don't know what it says, but I know that's what you have to do. After that, below here, you're gonna have to put your reception address, the one of your main wallet, so basically where you want the registrations to be sent. So here you can put the address of your main wallet, a wallet that you're using right now. So don't mind about it. It's a public key. It's accessible on the blockchain. There's nothing to hide. There's no issues in here. It's just that your mints are gonna be sent in here, so there's no need to be worried here. You can put your personal address. And here, I'm obviously not talking about the private key. I'm talking about your wallet address. After that, below here, you're gonna have to put the mint command. It's what gonna lead the mint in a way. So the mint command, you can find it over here, and you need to copy it well from data up until the last character. So you're going to copy paste. So for me, I've already put it beforehand for the sake of the example with the mint command that you're gonna have to use for the KuCoin community chain. So this command is gonna be roughly the same every time, but there's some things that are gonna change. Here, for example, the name of the protocol, ordinal, it was ASC20 for Avalanche. Here it's gonna be KRC20 for the KuCoin community chain. The ticker is gonna be the name of the token that you're gonna be minting. So here, for example, it's gonna be the KCCS. On Avalanche, it could have been the AVAS or even the SCT, which has literally skyrocketed. So anyways, make sure to do your due diligence to know about the different mintings out there. After that, you have the amount, which is the amount of tokens that you're gonna be minting per mint, of course. And that varies between a mint and another. But like I said before, you're gonna find all the info on June.com or maybe even on Twitter. So once everything is ready, you're going to send to your burn wallet a certain number of tokens. For example, on Avalanche, you would have sent AVAX tokens. On the KCC, you would have sent KCS tokens. You're going to send the amount that you want to use for minting, and when you start the bot by clicking directly on the green button, here you're going to see the number of mints, which is going to increase, and basically the minting is going to stop once you've exhausted the amount for your gas fees. Personally, if I wanted to mint for $10, $20, or $30, I'm going to just send $10, $20, or $30 of the token that I want to mint, and that's it, so that I only spend the amount I want specifically. So now there's a few things that I'm going to add. First thing is that where can I find the registrations that I made, and where can I sell them? So I'm not going to be able to answer for all because it all depends on the blockchain. Every time there's a new blockchain launching, there's also a new marketplace accompanying it, and that's where you're going to find your tokens and be able to sell them. For example, on the AVAX blockchain, you're gonna find the marketplace AVAScription. You have different tabs that you can use. You have here the tab token. You can see here all the tokens that have been created, whether they're minting or they've already done minting. You can rank them in terms of progression, and after that you have the marketplace. For example, here on Beg, which I myself have minted yesterday, I'm going to click on it. I can see the transactions that I've already made, the buys and sells, and I'm going to be able to list an order simply on clicking list. And then I only have to put the amount that I want to sell. Let's say that I want to sell 10,000 and I want to sell it on the floor price, which you can find over here, which is 0.00012. And as you can see here, if this order goes through, I'm going to get 1.2 AVAX. Obviously, you have other marketplaces depending on the blockchain you're using. Here we are at the Phantom blockchain, FRC20, or for example here on the blockchain of Kronos. I can see here the entirety of my tokens. So marketplaces overall work pretty much exactly the same. So it's going to feel pretty familiar from marketplace to another. For example, I can click on list here and then put the order that I want. And that's simply how it's going to work. So keep in mind that certain mints and certain blockchains are very cheap. So put very little money. It's of no use to put $2,000 in this because there's mints that go down to zero. There's mints that do 20x. There's also mints that do 600x. But in general, 90% of them go down to zero. So you need to do a risk management. You need to manage your money properly. And so for the first few times, it's better to try it with little amounts. And then going forward, you're going to figure out how to adjust that. Do not think that you're going to be winning all the time. Actually, most mints are going to fail and have no value. So make sure to do your due diligence when it comes to this. But you've seen now the tutorial, so you know now how to do all of this. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.